Kia ora, greetings, g'day, hello, and welcome back here to the SAS Reality Check. Back with another question, so let's jump straight in. Kia ora, Joe. I'm curious, how did you deal with the uncontrollables of selection? So I've spoken, I know, in one of my earlier videos about uncontrollables. This one specifically is talking about uncontrollables. So anyway, let me carry on. I'm curious, how did you deal with the uncontrollables of selection? Question mark. Things like not knowing what the staff are thinking about you, how you're going for time and or distance during the navigation phase, what if you're not good enough, what if you quit, what if you don't get selected for the cycle? Did you try to control things? Do you have any tips? Question mark. I feel like I've spent a good amount of preparing my body for the physical demands, but I don't know how to prepare for bad luck. How do you stay calm when you feel like a single act of God could derail a significant amount of sacrifice? Thanks, mate. Appreciate your time. And then they sign off. Wow. So I know I've spoken about uncontrollables and controllables of selection in one of my earlier videos. So maybe go back and have a look at that. But in summary, I think I mentioned you control your own destiny as far as I'm concerned on selection. A candidate looking to join the unit has much more control over their own destiny to successfully complete selection versus not having as much control. I think from memory, things that you don't control is whether or not your application gets accepted for selection in the first place, what you get told to do during the selection itself, so tasks that you'll be given, and then the last one from memory was whether or not you're accepted to progress onto the cycle of training, which, one of the things that you got here, what if you're not good enough? What if you quit? What if you don't get selected for cycle, etc.? So outside of those three things, you pretty much control everything else. Your application, your training prep, whether you turn up, etc. Well, now, when you're talking here about things not knowing, like the uncontrollables, things like not knowing what the staff are thinking about you, don't worry yourself with that. Like this is my tip or my tips for you. You can't control it, so don't give it any bandwidth. Don't give it any mental bandwidth for you, because you've got enough going on in your head with regards to tasks that are given to you that you need to complete. So one, don't worry about what the staff are thinking about you. You're right, you can't control it, so why bother wasting any time on it? How you're going for time and or distance during the navigation phase. Okay, so things there, the uncontrollables, you can control a large part of that, and I think I spoke about this in one of the earlier videos on this channel. Like, it's up to you when you choose to stop and have a rest or not stop and have a rest and keep pushing. So how you're going for time or distance, if you don't know how much time you've got or how much distance you've covered, you should know how much distance you've covered, because you're going to work out the distance, the bearing, and work out roughly how long it should take you to cover that ground to get to the next checkpoint, if that makes sense. So you should have an idea of how much distance you've covered. If you're talking about not knowing how much distance you need to cover, because there might be a set number and you've heard about the number, it could be anywhere from 100 kilometers to 200 kilometers or whatever, and you're not sure what that is, well, again, that's a different story. Don't worry yourself with it. Concern yourself with getting from where you are now to that next checkpoint in the navigation phase as quickly and as efficiently as you can, and just keep knocking off checkpoint after checkpoint as you progress through. You'll find out soon enough whether or not you've been quick enough or whether or not you've covered enough distance, because if you're still there, then you can safely assume that you've done at least the minimum requirements of those two things to earn your place to continue to carry on, or you'll get a tap on the shoulder and be told, sorry, mate, you're out of here. You're on the bus. You haven't done enough. And then you'll get your answer and information. So again, that's another one of those, don't concern yourself with that. Just focus on completing the task. And in this case, navigation, getting from checkpoint A to checkpoint B and so on and so forth until they tell you to stop. So what if you're not good enough? What if you're not good enough? I don't know anybody that goes on selection thinking that they're good enough. I think for myself, I went on selection knowing that I could do the job. I never thought that I was good enough to do the job. I thought that I could do the job, if they were willing to take the time to train me, because I felt like I'm going to stay here on this selection until they kick me off, or unless I break something, or unless I die. So for me, having those three things, which I've spoken about in other videos, set me in good stead. But I never once thought that I was good enough. I maybe probably thought I was good enough once I was in, because I'm like, oh wow, I've got through all this stuff, and yes, now I've a little bit of validation. Here's that wing dagger and sandy beret, or the flaming sword of Excalibur. Sandy beret to go into the unit. Maybe at that moment I thought, yes, I've earned and done enough to get here. I'm good enough to be here. But I never thought that going into selection. So yeah, don't waste any time on that. What if you quit? Again, I never personally thought about quitting. I had those three things. Those were the only ways I was coming off the course. So if you're pretty clear around your drive to want to be there in the unit, and also if you've got a clear game plan, I think for me that's what helped. I'm either going to be badly injured, or I'm going to be removed, or I'm going to die. Like, that was my game plan as far as coming off selection. That, as dumb as that might sound to others, I don't care. That's what I used. That's what worked for me in New Zealand. That's what worked for me in Australia. And that's the approach that I would take personally if I was going to do any selection, if I wanted to be there bad enough. And I wanted to be there bad enough, so that's what I used. What if you don't get selected for the cycle? Again, out of your control, so don't worry about it. Give an honest account of yourself, go on selection, work hard, do as you're told, and perform the jobs, the tasks, the activities to the best of your ability, and then let the cards fall where they may. So it is what it is. Did you try to control things? Do you have any tips? Yeah, I looked to control all the things that I said in another video that I knew were within my control. It's up to me whether or not I choose to go to that checkpoint or not. It's up to me whether or not I choose to quit. It's up to me whether or not I choose to stay in the dunes and just suck it up and carry on. It's up to me whether I choose to quit Lucky Dip. All those sort of things. It's on me. It's up to me whether I want to complete the 60-kilometer pack march or not, whether or not I want to apply. Like, there's a heck of a lot within my control. It's up to me in terms of whether I get up and put in the training and the kilometers and the time, distance, etc. for my preparation before going on selection. So there's a massive amount. So hopefully that helps. Those are my tips. Yeah, I tried to control all those, like a large number of things that I mentioned that I could control, and I tried to do them to the best of my ability. Were there times when I looked like a sack of spuds? Yep, 100%. There were times when I can recall times when I would have looked feeble and useless, no doubt, to the staff. But it wasn't enough to make me quit. They weren't going to make me remove myself or withdraw at my own request just because I looked like a shambles at certain aspects of a selection course. I didn't care. So, I cared, but I didn't care enough to go, oh, I'm embarrassed. I'm gonna quit selection because I look really weak and useless right now. So what? As long as I'm still there, and as long as I'm putting one foot in front of the other and carrying on with the task, giving my best effort, I felt like that's what they wanted to see, or that was a part of what they wanted to see. So I stayed there and sucked it up. Good that you've feel like you spend a good amount of time preparing your body for the physical demands. Don't know how to prepare for bad luck. Yeah, I think I might have mentioned this as well. Like, luck plays a part in anything and everything. So bad luck, good luck, make your own luck, an act of God you've got here could derail a significant amount of sacrifice. Yeah, that could happen. Again, not much point worrying or thinking about it or overcomplicating it, because you can't do anything about it. Like that saying, SHIT happens, eh? So it does. The bumper sticker, there are things that we just can't control. And I think you're better off spending your time on listening to what the instructors tell you to do, focusing on completing that task as well as you can, using your initiative to be flexible and adaptable where you can, and cracking on with the job. That's it. That's my advice and tip. So anyway, hopefully that helps. If it doesn't, apologies. Too bad, so sad. But anybody that spent any time here, and or to the person that has sent through this query, thank you again. I do appreciate it. That being said, man, yeah, as always, the the recommendation, the encouragement, the message is always the same. Like you and I, we people that you know, even ourselves, we go through dark times, challenges, real difficulties, which are hard for us in the moment and maybe hard for people that we know to be able to navigate our way through. But one of the things that I've learned over time is the need to just keep turning up, to keep staying in the fight, to put one foot in front of the other and to take one day at a time, and to have a drive and a desire to want things to get better, to know and trust that things can do and will get better if you and I want them to, and that we just have to want it and be willing to be patient, disciplined enough, consistent enough to be able to put up with that process. Things can do and will get better. I promise you that. The sun will shine again. There is a light at the end of that tunnel, and those better days are always closer than you and I think. So just stick at it. Keep going. As always, go always a little further. Remember, who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, there is a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for you all.